Hi everyone. So you'll see behind me I have a new 7-gallon tank on my desk, and so it's actually a Grow Out tank for Polar Parrot babies, and it's actually been a while. It was at the start of the summer when I did a tank tour last and showed all my aquariums to everyone. So I thought, since I have this new one and it's been a while, it's a good time to do a fall tank tour. So today I'm just going to walk you through all my aquariums and we'll talk through what's changed or what's new and then any future plans I have. So anyway, let's head over to my 65-gallon out in my living room and we'll start there. All right, so here we are. Going to start off with my 65-gallon. So what happened since the last tank tour, if you go back to that video, you'll see that the aquascape overall is looking pretty skimpy, not that many plants. Algae was kind of becoming a problem and I neglected it for a bit, so plants kind of just did worse over time. And so I really wanted just to keep the hardscape. I really like the kind of caves and the island look, but I wanted a lot more plants. So I did a full rescape, but I kept most of the hardscape very similar and added a whole bunch of new plants. They're doing very good, really kind of the jungle look I sort of wanted to in the middle. As far as the plants I have in here, I have a Nubius kind of here on the side and in the foreground, a few types, Bartery, Nana, and then Nana Petite in the front here, and some more over there. Then I have a bunch of Java Fern over here, and then in the back there's a few Nubius, and then the big two plants are a Red Reuben sword here on the right, and then a regular Amazon sword on the left. That's the largest. And so everything's doing really well. There's a few plants that, I probably have to trim up, like the Amazon sword. Some of the leaves aren't doing the best, but I'll probably trim that up soon. But I actually really like the jungle look, so I almost, want to keep it for a bit just to have more plants taking up the space, And then the other thing I did when I rescaped was I did add CO2. If we go over here, the diffuser is a little bit hidden. You kind of see it coming down, but it's kind of hard to see. Kind of hit it in the plants. Yeah, there you go. So I added that. I used the UNS Mini regulator, which I have over here. Right now I'm just using a disposable cartridge. I probably will switch to a full tank in the future. I know it's much more cost efficient and it's easier and it'll last longer, but I kind of want to keep it simple. I'm still very new at CO2, so I wanted to just make it simple for myself. And so far that canister, the disposable one's actually lasting quite a while. I bought 3 of them still on the first one after over a month, so that's good to see. I keep it on for about 6 hours when I keep the lights on during the day. All right, so let's go on next to talk about the fish in this aquarium. So first I have 4 polar parrots. There is my largest male, Suki, and he's paired up with my female Sashimi. And so they've actually been mating for quite a few months now, even after in my last scape, or my last tank tour, they were mating. And so they've been having babies every month and a half or so. And usually what would happen is they'd live for about a week, they'd guard them very well, and then after that, they pretty much all get eaten. In one of the first batches I had though, I actually do have one that managed to stay alive through everything, and that's this one. So he's grown up pretty nicely. And now, as I teased earlier, and we'll go to it in a bit, the 7 gallons actually grow them out. So as they have babies, gonna take out what ones I can, put them in there so they don't get eaten, and slowly be able to grow them up. So that'll be fun. And then I also do have one polar parrot over here. Actually got them from a flea market. They had a little pet store at a flea market, which is very surprising. They had an aquarium section. Aquariums actually weren't looking too good. Looked pretty dirty, a lot of sick looking fish. But they had one tank that had one single polar parrot, this guy. And I was just like, I kind of want to get him, just give him a good home, So I quarantined him for over a month to make sure everything is safe. But he was healthy so far. So far I've been doing great in here. Other than he kind of hides over here because my pair likes to keep him out of the section. But anyway, doing good on that front. And then as far as the other fish in the tank, I have my 7 Yoyo Loaches all swimming around here. I used to have 6. I actually did pick up this one, named him Skinny Pete. At a pet store, they had one left. The guy actually didn't even know they still had him. And I saw him and I was like, oh, he's pretty large. He's very skinny though, whereas he's about as large as my other largest ones, but my other ones are much thicker, so he's really skinny. But got him, feeding him up, and so far he's doing very good. And then besides that, in this tank, even though they're almost all hiding right now, here's one little guy, is I have 6 clown loaches. And so I have 2 from an older batch. My largest one's probably about 5 inches right now. And then I have another one from that batch that's maybe about 3 inches. And I lost the rest of them, unfortunately, to a bacteria bloom, but then I had gotten 4 more, so I have 4 small ones. They're kind of all hiding now. They usually come out during feeding time in the morning, and then my clown loaches definitely like to hide more. Probably a lot to do with my polar parrot pair being a little aggressive sometimes. Although I will mention, since the last time and since I rescaped and have all these plants, there's a lot less aggression and they're a lot better. When they have babies, they kind of just guard them usually in this cave, and then besides that, they just kind of chase people around sometimes, but overall not too bad of aggression. So I'm happy with how that's doing now compared to the past. Now, before we go on to the next tank, I guess the future plans for this tank, really no big ones, just to keep rescuing polar parrot babies as they have them and grow them out. I do want to try selling them as they grow up. This first one I have that was now an only child, I'm definitely going to just keep him, and I'm going to keep all the ones I have, but as I get more and more, and there's more in here, I will try to sell them and see if I can. If that doesn't work out, then I'll probably do what I can to stop growing them out so I don't get overrun. No big plans besides this, no really fish to add though. Fish are going to keep growing, just my clown loaches, and so eventually I will upgrade, so kind of just keeping everyone happy in this tank. Lots of hiding spaces for everyone to feel comfortable until I do upgrade to 100 gallon, 125 gallon. All right, so next I want to go on to my 55 gallon aquarium. Now, since the last tour, this is the only tank that really has had some problems. I did actually get a few ram cichlids, and they didn't do too well. One of them did pass away, and actually got, I didn't see him pass away, so he's like behind rocks or something, and it caused a bacteria bloom. I was able to just save the tank very quickly. I've had one before, so I just cleaned it really well, and I had a UV filter I put on it, and everything healed up real quick. Fortunately, I did lose a few fish from that. And the one other note is, over the past year or so, I've slowly lost my corridors, so there is no corridors in this tank anymore. And I do now have just about only a handful of mollies left. As far as the other fish, I obviously have my two largest blood parrots, and they're a pair. I have my larger male and then a female, and they lay eggs probably every month or so, or every month and a half. Most likely they're infertile. I've never seen any of them hatch. And so they just eat them after about a week or so once they start fungusing over. But it is cool to see them having breeding behavior. And then lastly, the one new fish I do have is I did get a Redtail Shark. Since I didn't have any more bottom feeders, I did want one, and I wanted to get something different that I hadn't had before. I've had a rainbow shark before, so I wanted to try a Redtail Shark and kind of see how they compare, the differences. And so far, he's doing good. Really has shown no aggression, but that's also probably because I have my two big blood parrots. They're pretty much the alphas of the tank. But doing good. Colors look very nice, very healthy. So excited to see them grow and how they behave in the future. As far as the kind of scape, when I got the bacteria bloom, the plants were kind of all over and some weren't doing that well. So I did do a simple rescape. I kept the driftwood in the same place. I didn't want to move the large pieces out. And then I kind of just made a simple cave with how that was set up. And then I kind of just added axons of Anubias around. A few of them haven't done so well, so I actually think one of the changes in the future is get a few more Anubias, kind of each patch you had. I did have a few more plants on each, so they were a bit more thick, but that's kind of the only change plant-wise I'd like to do for this tank. As far as other changes, no real big ones. I'm going to add another fish or two. I'd really like to kind of try a few new species, so if I can think of a couple that work with blood parrots, that's what I'll do. All right, so next I want to go over to my 7 gallon. So this is my brand new tank. This is my grow out tank for polar parrots. You can see a few down here. I'll probably show some closer up clips, but you can see a few swimming around there. Yeah, there you go. They're hard to see though. When I've counted them, I've counted up to 9, although I think there's a few more. So I'd say probably around 10, give or take, definitely 9 though. And so it's a small tank. I wanted a small tank that would fit on my desk, no problem, and there wouldn't be any risk of it breaking or anything. So this was the one tank. It's by the brand UNS. That was a pretty good deal. So I got a 7 gallon cube and pretty good deal for it. I forget how much I paid, but I do want to do a full review on this tank in the future. And so far, just really love the look of it. It fits on my desk very nice. It doesn't take up much space. And I kind of just love having a tank right next to my laptop. I used to have a 20 gallon cube in my office next to my laptop, and I really enjoyed that. So I kind of wanted to get back to that. And I thought it was a good size just to grow out my polar parrot babies. Basically, as soon as they get large enough that I think they won't get fit in other fish's mouths, specifically the loaches, I'll move them over to the 65 gallon and then they'll live the rest of their life there. So overall, happy with this. I guess to talk about kind of the plants and the equipment, I guess I'll do equipment first. I have a Hygger light. Kind of everything I got for this tank, I was going very budget, very kind of minimal. I wanted things to look good, but I also wanted to be on a budget and not spend too much money on it. So that's the light I went with so far. Lights it up real nice, looks good. Kind of like the style of it, so working well so far, no complaints. It has a bunch of settings with colors. I haven't really played with them, kind of just turn the light on and off when I want to. I'm just rocking a sponge filter for the filtration, and then for the heater, it's a biotech heater. I've kind of just used this for all my nano tanks, as large as 20 gallons, then 10 gallons, and then now I'm using it for this tank. Works pretty good, so you can just kind of stick with that. I did also want to put CO2 on this tank. I actually bought the Neo DIY CO2 kit, but then I read once I had it, it's actually really doesn't recommend it for tanks smaller than 10 gallons. So this is kind of 7 gallons on the edge of it. So I actually did still have part of a tank left of my Fluval CO2 kit. And so I decided just to use that for now. In terms of plants, I kind of wanted to go with some new plants, or ones I've kind of tried but didn't really get too into. So as far as the plants, I have mini bulbitus that's trash driftwood here, and that's doing excellent. As far as other plants, I have it's called a big bear sword over in this corner. It's kind of browning. It's really not doing too well. When I got it out the package, it was already like all the leaves are already yellow and brown. So I'm kind of keeping the leaves in there for now, but I'll probably trim them up. I'm hoping the roots and stem is good enough to kind of let it regrow, so we'll see on that, but it really didn't arrive very healthy, so that's kind of unfortunate. And the other two plants I have are two cryptocorn Wendy greens, if I'm pronouncing that middle word right, I'm not sure. But there actually was a few more leaves on each of them, but they kind of melted away pretty quick. But the rest of them are looking pretty healthy, so hopefully they stay and grow roots and continue to do good. So we'll see. Those are pretty new plants for me. I haven't played around with cryptocorns too much, so we'll see. I have contra soil as the substrate. I want to do nutrient as substrate for the whole tank. Really haven't done that much before. I've done parts of tanks with it, so kind of wanted something new. And another goal with that is I did want to have a carpet plant. I actually bought Monte Carlo and had a bunch of it, but actually completely melted away. So I think when I got it, it wasn't in very good condition. So it completely melted away, was floating around. You might see there's a few like pieces floating around still. I tried to get as much out as I could, but that's kind of that. So I don't know, maybe I'll get some more Monte Carlo or a different carpeting plant. I want to go somewhat easy, but I also do have CO2 on the tank, so it can be a little bit more difficult if I want. I don't know if anyone has suggestions. Kind of just want something that'll hopefully cover the whole ground of the tank and just look nice. Another new thing I did with this tank that I've never done before is I got 2 rocks from nature out from the Delaware River when I was kayaking. This one specifically almost looks like it has a face on it. So I cleaned them off real good, used the method where you use bleach solution, and so far they're doing great. So hopefully there's no problems with them, but I definitely think this one specifically looks very cool. And so I'm kind of excited with that I did do rocks from nature. That was a new thing for me. But anyway, that's pretty much it for this tank. So we'll go turn around, and behind me in my office, we have my 40-gallon goldfish tank. All right, so this is my 40-gallon goldfish tank. It's a 40-gallon breeder. And so this tank, I did it right before my last tank tour, and so far really nothing has changed in it. Pretty much everything's doing well in it. The 2 goldfish are doing great. They're kind of just chilling, enjoying life. And then I have 2 red Reuben swords that were mother pots in the back, and they're doing absolutely great. If you look back in time, the plants are so much more thick and just doing excellent. I guess the only thing I've had problems with this tank is getting a bit of algae. I just cleaned it, so it looks pretty nice. Obviously, there's a good amount on the rocks. But that's kind of that. So I just kind of want to keep trying to balance that to make it less of an issue, less maintenance. There actually was maybe about a month ago, a situation where there was getting really bad black hair algae on these red Reuben swords. If you look on the edges, you can kind of see it still, but they actually completely cleared up from what it was. And I actually didn't do anything for that. I was cleaning the leaves for a while, and then kind of just life got busy, and I kind of stopped for a bit, and it was kind of funny, it just went away. I remember always watching Corey from Aquarium Co-op. It's one of the things he said. A lot of the problems, if you just leave them, they'll go away. And I guess I was kind of stubborn with that, but this time, just from being busy, I got to experiment with it. And yeah, at least the really bad blackbeard algae completely went away on the leaves. So that was kind of cool to see. And overall, this plant's just kind of doing really good. As far as future plans for this tank, there really is none. I think it's pretty good stocking, these 2 size Orandas for this tank size. and they'll keep growing, so I really don't want to change anything with that. Now that I'm thinking about it, one change that did happen is these two, their colors really changed over the last few months, which was very cool to see as they grew. Daphne, this Oranda, she used to be about half black and the rest orange. She is almost full orange now. And then this Oranda Squish, he was a gray, had a good amount more black to him, grayish black, and that mostly faded. He's now mostly orange and white, which is very cool. So cool to see the changes, and overall both doing well. But anyway, no big plans for this tank. Kind of just letting everything chill. Hopefully let the plant keep doing well, and kind of just keep it as it is for now. But that does close out the tour. If you did watch to the end, I very much appreciate that, and you checking out the video. And if you have any questions about anything or any thoughts for what I should do to my tanks in the future, I'm always curious to know. So do let me know in the comments. And anyway, thanks again for watching, and I'll catch everyone next time.